2 of our CCAC matchup between the Holy Cross Saints and your St. Xavier Cougars.
Game 2 of 2 here on this doubleheader afternoon from the Shannon Center on the beautiful campus of St. Xavier University. We have the men's programs between Holy Cross College and St. Xavier University set to do battle. Good afternoon, everyone. Ron Luce here on the call with you for this second game of this CCAC doubleheader today. SXU men enter on a hot streak. They currently sit tied atop the CCAC 14-3 overall record, 8-1 in conference play, and they are 5-0 in their last 5 under second-year head coach Robert Ford. As for the other side, it's the 10th-year head coach Mike McBride and his gang coming in at 7-9, our Holy Cross, but 3-6 in CCAC play. But they are 3-2 in their last 5 entering action today. Your starters for the Holy Cross College Saints are number 1, Justin O'Neill, number 3, Nash Hostetler, number 10, Bo Ludwig, number 12, Phil Robles II, and number 24, Tommy Snyder, round out your starting group. And here are the SXU starters. As you hear, number 3, Trey Ward getting the start today. His first home start of the season. Kevin Bishop, a normal starter for the Cougars, the junior. Pikeville Parkland transfer. Number 11, Julian Barr makes another appearance in the starting lineup. The Tinley Park native and Lincoln Way East product. The big man in the middle, his third game here with the Cougs after starting the season on the shelf, Jack Halverson. And number 30, Cedric Johnson, your point guard from Bellevue, Nebraska. Sioux Falls transfer is set to start. As you may notice, for those that religiously join us here on SXUCougars.com and the SXU Athletics YouTube page, no Jaden King in the starting lineup today. He is actually in street clothes and not dressed for the game. We don't have an update at the moment, but we'll get some of that for you hopefully at the half as to what happened to Jaden King. There was a play the other night where he went down a little awkwardly against Indiana University Northwest, so perhaps a small tweak there. He does seem to be in overall pretty good health, so it might be just a short absence for the Cougars' leading scorer. Also worthy mentioning, TJ Babaker back in uniform for the first time in a few games. So we'll expect to see him for the first time in the new year, some point this afternoon. Tip is set, starters on the floor. Halverson wins it back, and we are underway. Game 2 of this CCAC doubleheader between the Saints and Cougars is underway from Bob Hallberg Court. Here's Johnson now on the drive. The little floater doesn't go, but the tip back by Kevin Bishop gets it done. So the first points of the afternoon go to Kevin Bishop and the Cougars. And Holy Cross now going to work. That's Ludwig with it here at the point, looking for help. He finds it via Robles II. Over to the corner, looking for a shot to open up. They'll get it into the paint now for O'Neill. And his bid is off the mark. Johnson hauls in the rebound. Cougars moving quickly here. It's Johnson now on the far wing, still with it. And he's stripped on the way through. Loose ball on the ground. Bishop gets it back. The Cougars still have possession. Bishop to Barr. He'll fake shot. And now to Bishop with the easy layup. Good ball movement. Excellent vision from number 11, Julian Barr, to get Bishop 2 additional points on the score sheet today. With no Jaden King, expect to see a lot of Bishop and Halverson on the score sheet this afternoon as that three-pointer is off the mark. Loose ball. Halverson's able to run it down. That'll be his first rebound of the afternoon. Johnson with it. He'll take it himself with the left hand. No good. Snyder able to haul in the rebound here for the Saints. Ludwig serving as the point man here. He's got it on the near wing. Down low to O'Neill and back to Ludwig. They're looking for Snyder maybe in the paint. Robles II pulls up for 3. And Halverson snags the rebound out of midair. And Trey Ward will now lead the charge. Good defense overall here in the early going for the Cougars. Some tough missed shots as well from the Saints as Halverson puts that back. And there's some of that two-man game with the big men. Bishop kind of in that swing four role. Getting it up top and delivering to Halverson down low in the paint. O'Neal kicks to Robles, the second for a corner three, and it's on the mark. Well, the first points for the Saints come via the deep ball. Three-pointer from the corner there for Robles the second, and he gets the scoring started for the visitors. Holy Cross in their all-black away uniforms with the maroon trim. As for the Cougars, they're wearing their traditional whites with the red and black trim. Here's Halverson now in the low post. Kicks to Ward. Good ball movement. Barr, shot fake. Three-pointer is good from Julian Barr. 9-3 now your score here as the Cougars tack on three more. That's Ludwig again with it. He's looking for help. Finds O'Neal here in the corner. Good ball movement. Snyder to Ludwig, but nearly tapped out of his hand. And the three is good. Off the hands of Nash Hotstetler. And just like that, Holy Cross keeping pace with these Cougars thanks to the three ball. Bishop with it now here up at the point. He'll take it himself. Has to slow up and tries to deliver a feed to Barr in the corner, but he misfires. And now we'll see the first substitution of the day. This will be number 4, Storm Cook. The senior guard checks in. Fellow senior number 10, Bo Ludwig, first to the bench. As of the moment, no other changes on the floor for either side. O'Neal, the Hostetler, he wanted the corner three, but good defense from Bishop forced him out of that thinking. And a nice finish there from Snyder in the post, working against Halverson. Ward bringing it forward. He'll give way to Johnson on the far wing. And there's that two-man game. Halverson to Bishop for another easy bucket. Once again, expect to see a lot of that Bishop to Halverson or Halverson to Bishop connection today with no Jaden King in the lineup. Jaden King currently in the conference standings, the second leading scorer in the CCAC. He's averaging 22.3. Only Tyler Schmidt of Olivet Nazarene averages more per game than him. Snyder on the drive on the baseline and a nice finish with the right hand. Again, Holy Cross continuing to keep pace. Now just a 1-point effort here for the visitors. Barr with it here on the near wing looking for a screen. He gets it via Halverson. Ward has it and he'll drive. On the baseline, kicks. Good ball movement here. Halverson trying to get it down low to Bishop. Good defensive swat from Justin O'Neal. Cook will bring it forward and he'll deliver to Hostetler on the far side. Good shot fake. Robles, he'll circle back. O'Neal in the mid-range, off the mark. And Snyder's tip hits the shot clock above the backboard. Halverson will get the first breather, and Maki Moore checks in as the sixth man off the bench. So that'll move Kevin Bishop down into the 5 role, and a little bit of small ball coming here from the Cougars with 4 guards on the floor. Ward kicks. Johnson three-pointer off the mark. Robles collects, and the Holy Cross Saints will go to work. That's Storm Cook with it now here on the outside. Delivers down low to O'Neal. Back to Robles up top, and then a screen from O'Neal. Good ball movement, but strong defense from the Cougars, keeping everything to the outside for the time being. Now here's Cook on a drive after a nice shot fake, and that will cause a foul. Cedric Johnson picks up his first foul of the afternoon and the first team foul for the Cougars today. Storm Cook at the line shooting free throws. And he'll deliver on free throw number 1. We're tied. 11 is Wild on the scoreboard. And number 13, Mick Sullivan checks in here in place of Snyder. And we get to see Tino Shabai for the first time today as well. He'll give Kevin Bishop a breather on the flip side. And Ward will work with it. So still a bit of small ball. 4 guards on the floor here for the Cougars. Here's Shabai, 3-pointer. If it goes, and it does. Tino Shabai, for being a big man, you cannot leave him unguarded from beyond the arc. A strong 3-point shooter, has been all year, and he loves that area between the wings up near the point. Hostetler from the far corner, that's off the mark. Maki Moore with an easy collection of the rebound. Ward gets a screen, and now he'll kick out. Good ball movement here with Barr. Maki Moore, 3 from the wing, and he delivers. Three-pointer for Maki Moore, and the Cougars now with a bit of a cushion here. 17-12 your score. Speaking of number 12, Robles kicks inside to Sullivan, and he'll get it right back. Robles on the baseline drive, a floater, and he delivers. Awkward shot, tough shot as well. But Phil Robles the second. Phil Robles the second. Delivering there. Now Trey Ward takes it himself. Nice drive in the paint for the underclassman. And again, making his first home start of the season. Trey Ward has been sensational in the early going here. That was his first bucket. He has an assist as well, and now Hostetler delivers. A big 3-pointer there. That cuts the Cougars' lead to just 1 possession. Ward to Shabai. There's the 3 again. If it goes, and it does. Ward and Shabai love to run that 2-man game. Ward on the drive and kicks back for Shabai, who sneakily finds his way outside of the arc. Here's Robles for a 3. That's off the mark. Johnson on the rebound. Cougars with a bit of pace now as they bring it up the floor, and Johnson will take it himself to the rack, and he's unable to complete the play at the hoop. Still 22-17 now your score, as Robles is unable to collect on that far side. And now some wholesale changes coming. We'll see Hostetler, Sullivan head to the bench, and now Holy Cross will take a timeout. We'll update you in just a minute on those personnel changes. 12:06 to play here in half number 1. We're going to step aside for a quick breather. We'll be back with you here in just a second on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody. 12:06 left to play here in half number 1. Holy Cross taking the first timeout of the action today. It is Cougars' possession. 1 change on the floor for the Cougars. Drew Bishop enters for the first time today off the bench, giving Maki Moore a breather. No other changes there. On the other side, though, we'll see for the first time today, number 2, Ryan Caratino, as Tino Shabai delivers from distance yet again. And that'll give him a team and game-high 9 points now. All 3 of his shots coming from beyond the arc thus far. There's O'Neal as he kicks inside to Crook and back outside to Ludwig, who freshly checked in. 3-pointer if it goes, off the mark. Shabai collects on the rebound. We also see Snyder return to the action here for Holy Cross. So Caratino, the only one, a first-timer for today, as Johnson easily runs his way around Ludwig and picks up the quick bucket. Now a 10-point advantage for the Cougars This Holy Cross team was keeping with them, but successful shooting from beyond the arc thus far has helped cement more of a cushion. Here's Ludwig. Shabai guarding him out near the line. And now a timeout taken already by Holy Cross. That'll be their second of the afternoon already. And one has to imagine that could come back and haunt them just a hair. While we sit here during the timeout, update you on some statistics. Tino Shabai, as we mentioned, game high, team high, 9 points for the Cougars. Kevin Bishop has 6. Both players 3 of 3 from the floor thus far. Julian Barr and Maki Moore each with a tray, and Ward, Halverson, and Johnson each collecting a bucket of their own. On the other side, Hostetler leads the way. He's 2 of 3 from beyond the arc with 6 points, 5 from Robles. Snyder has 4, and Cook with the other 2. Action resuming here, Holy Cross. And now Julian Barr is going to pick up a foul. And Robert Ford gives him a look of a bit of disapproval from the bench. They'll go to work for the first time today, and in a while we'll see number 2, TJ Babaker, checking back in as Trey Ward heads to the bench. Lone change for the Cougars. No other changes on the floor for either side except for Cartano off the floor now for Holy Cross. Here's Johnson with it after the rebound. Shabai will set a screen for the guard. Good defense and switch there from Holy Cross. Bishop hands off to Babaker, now to Barr. Shot fake, and then foul will be called against Ludwig. And a bit of a, seemed like a bit of an aggressive confrontation there between Mike McBride and the official. Official looked like he was ready to tee him up. But McBride circled back. McBride still chirping one of the other officials. Here's Moore on the drive. Awkward, tough bucket. He hits the ground. No fouls called on the miss. Now Robert Ford giving an ear to one of the officials on his way by. Here's Ludwig in the near corner for Holy Cross. O'Neal with it on the far wing, looking for assistance. Finds it via Cook at the top. Now a 3 off the mark, and Barr collects. Cougars moving quickly. Julian Barr leads the charge for Drew Bishop now. Spin back by Drew Bishop. He gives it to Barr on the far side, and now to Maki Moore. Each player taking turns driving. Bishop with a nice little spin and spins back for a left-handed finish. Excellent work by Drew Bishop underneath the hoop, the spin and the spin back to complete what looked like could have been a tough bucket. And the Cougars extend their lead now 29-17. O'Neal with it here on the near wing, delivers in the inside for Cook, and now Ludwig with it. Under 10 to shoot. O'Neal shot fake on the drive, trying to get it over Maki Moore, and Snyder able to get the offensive rebound and one for the freshman big man, number 24, Tommy Snyder, and he'll head to the line to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. And a couple of substitutions now coming as well. Kevin Bishop returns to the floor. We also see Jack Halverson back out on the floor for the Cougars. Babaker, Moore, and Bishop still, Drew Bishop that is, joining them. O'Neal off the floor. Robles returns. And Snyder misses on the free throw, so no three-point play there for the freshman. Babaker to serve as the point guard now with this personnel on the floor. He gives way to Drew Bishop and now to Halverson. There's the two-man game, and a foul called maybe against Ludwig here as Kevin Bishop received that pass in the low post. And it is indeed Bo Ludwig picking up the foul. That'll be his second. And the only two team fouls thus far for Holy Cross as Kevin Bishop heads to the free throw line. We mentioned that two-man game that we've seen today from Halverson and Bishop, and they've done it interchangeably. One big guy comes out to the point to collect a pass. tries to get that one-on-one matchup in the low post with the other post player. They've had a lot of success with it, not only just today, but this season in general. And there it draws Bishop to the free throw line as he bangs home his free throws. 31-19 is now the score here. 12-point contest for the time being. Cook brings it forward. He and Robles will play catch with it up top. Cook looking for assistance, finds it via Snyder. Now Hostetler near the baseline. Open look here for three, and it goes off the hands of number 0, Jalen Martin. That's a big bucket for the Saints. Here's Bishop now working against Martin down low. Bishop with the bit of a left-handed hook off the mark, and it glances off a few different players before ending up with Martin. 8:08 to go here in half number 1, a very fast-moving half at that. Not many foul calls thus far. This officiating crew letting the boys play here for the most part. Cook wanted the 3, instead circles back. Good defense from the Cougars as we approach 10 to shoot. Snyder and Halverson called for the foul. That's the 4th team foul now against the Cougars. Only Halverson's first, however. Barr, Moore, and Johnson owning the other 3 fouls this far. Snyder at the line. And that first shot off the mark. So now Snyder 0 of 2 from the free throw line. Look to get on the board here with free throw number 2 on this trip. And that is off the mark. So Halverson's foul ends up benefiting the Cougars. 0 for 2 on that trip with Snyder to the line. Here's Babaker now with it. Near the Bob Hallberg court logo. He hands off to Moore. Some contact, but Drew Bishop puts up a 3, and it's good. Drew Bishop, a big 3-pointer. Now they go to work. Cook with it. And here's Hostetler for 3. It's off the mark. Babaker and Snyder compete for it, and Snyder ends up throwing it back into Moore. Here comes Babaker looking for reinforcements. Drew Bishop on the far side. 3-pointer if it goes, just off the mark. And Halverson collects. And Martin is called for a foul on the floor. A holding foul against number 0, Jalen Martin. So it'll be an inbound from the baseline here. Babaker will do the honors. And he gets it in here to Kevin Bishop on the near side. Bishop loses it. Babaker saves it, but it ends up with the Saints. Here comes Robles. He'll deliver back to Cook. Now to Hostetler. Good passing here. And Robles has to circle up and turn back. Good response from the Cougars to get back defensively. Snyder will pull up from the far wing for 3. It's off the mark. Demaki Moore will secure the rebound. Cougars will slow things down with 6:36 and counting to go. Babaker to Moore over here now to Halverson. There's that 2-man game. Bishop in the low post. He'll convert on the left-handed hook. Halverson picking up an assist there. And that gives Bishop now a very strong day. 10 points for him already in the early going. And now here comes Cook after the near takeaway. Robles, 3-pointer is good. Good response from Holy Cross. And that's a big 3-pointer off the fingertips of Phil Robles. Just under 6 minutes still to play here in half number 1. Here's Halverson up top. Babaker on the drive looking for assistance. Gets it via Moore for 3. Just short and off the mark. A host of Saints in the area. It's Cook who comes away with the rebound. Here's Cook now pulling up for 3 from the point, off the mark. Drew Bishop runs down the loose ball and the rebound. Kevin Bishop back to Babaker, and now a timeout will be taken here by the Cougars. We'll also see a plethora of substitutions, at least for the home side. 5:29 to play. We'll step aside for just a quick breather. We'll be back with you here in a hot second on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody. 5:29 to go here in half number one. Ron Luce in the call with you for this doubleheader today between these CCAC opponents. This game two after the women took game one, that being the SXU women, 84-73 over Holy Cross. A couple new faces on the floor for the Cougars. Johnson, Barr, and Ward all return, so all five starters out here late in half number one for SXU. Sullivan back out on the floor here for Holy Cross. They got two big men on the floor trying to combat Bishop and Halverson. 5 to shoot. Kick. Ward, 3. Off the mark. And now a foul will be called. Johnson got pushed from behind trying to collect the rebound. And that will send Cedric Johnson to the line. And instead they call it a floor foul, not a shooting foul. So rather than Johnson going to the line, it'll be an inbound play from the baseline down to our left. The rest of the Cougars join him. Tino Shabai has checked in as well now for Halverson. Worth noting for personnel purposes. Here's Johnson pulling up for three. That's just short. Stetler corrals the rebound, and Robles to Cook to get things started. Everything to the outside. Sullivan working in the high post, Snyder in the low post. And they'll kick, and Sullivan's pass finds the gentleman in the front row on the far side. 4:43 and counting to go now, Cougars possession. And Ward will get things started offensively for the Cougars. Gets a screen from Shabai. Spins back and delivers to Johnson on the far side. They want to get it to Shabai down low. Barr from three. Short and off the mark, and then possession is awarded to the Cougars. No foul called. But it looks like they indicated either Snyder or Cook last touched the ball before leaving the court. So here come the Cougars once again. Barr, three-pointer. This time it's just off the mark once again. Looked good coming out of his hand. Just narrowly off the mark. So tough trip from beyond the arc there for Barr. Here's Cook working in the post. He'll deliver to Hostetler outside. Good move to free himself up. And the Euro step unsuccessful as the Cougars come away with it. Not sure who got a hand on that, but Cedric Johnson ultimately the Cougar with the possession. And his little Euro step to the bucket will work. And just like that, the Cougars add to their lead. 38-25 now your score. 13-point advantage for the home side. Sullivan to Snyder, and Snyder on the cut to the basket. Converts for another two. Ward slowing things down here as he crosses half court. Plenty of time. Now Ward takes it himself and one. The bucket will count. Trey Ward turning on the burners as he found the paint. And he'll go to the line to complete the old-fashioned three-point play. Drew Bishop returns to the court as well for the Cougars. Here's Ward at the line with 3:25 to go in half number one. And Ward unable to convert on the free throw. Nonetheless, impressive work by the sophomore. Trey Ward, 4 points, 3 assists so far in the afternoon. Hostetler down to Sullivan, working against Shabai in the low post. Wants to dish, he does to Cook. Just 10 to shoot now. Good ball movement, but strong defense from the Cougars. Robles from the wing, three-pointer off the mark, but Snyder corrals the rebound and puts it back for two. Trey Ward over to Johnson now on the far side. Still plenty of time to go here before half. Shabai setting a screen, trying to free up Johnson, unable to do so. And now an errant pass misses Drew Bishop, and it ends up with Storm Cook. Robles on the near wing, now to Hostetler up top. They want Sullivan in the post. There's that two-man game with Snyder on the drive to the basket. And one for the freshman, Tommy Snyder. Julian Barr picks up the foul there. We've seen that play already work for them once, and all things considered, really worked again. Sullivan catching it in that kind of high post area. And then Snyder cutting back door to the hoop. A Sullivan to Snyder pass, kind of their version of the two-way game we've seen with Bishop and Halverson for SXU. And now Snyder wanting to complete the three-point play does. And now it's just an 8-point game with 2:22 to play. Here's Trey Ward now to Drew Bishop on the far side. Johnson will pull up from three. That's good. Cedric Johnson opening up the lead a little more once again. Cook and Hostetler with no issue getting it over the half-court line, and they'll go to work. O'Neal and Martin freshly checked in. Martin pulls up and converts for three. Good answer by Holy Cross. Three-pointers back and forth on consecutive possessions. Johnson, the step-back three, just short. Cook and Hostetler collide a bit, but Cook able to secure the rebound. Minute 35 to go here in the half. Martin for three again. That's off the mark. O'Neal runs down the loose ball, however. Now Cook pulling up from distance. His bid also short. Ends up with Snyder, and Snyder's unable to convert either. Drew Bishop ends up with it in the paint. And Tommy Snyder getting up with a bit of a gimp as he gets back into the play. Johnson over to Barr on the far side with a minute 8 and counting to go. Drew Bishop trying to test Snyder's ability to move laterally. Ends up with Kevin Bishop instead. Nice fake by Kevin Bishop and the slam. What a move on the baseline by Bishop. Shot fake, got his man up in the air. A little crossover around him. And the big two-hand slam for Kevin Bishop. He's got 12 on the afternoon now here in half number one. Holy Cross, about a 15-second difference between shot and game clock. Cook to Hostetler, 8 to shoot. Over to Martin here on the near side. Now O'Neal on the baseline. Nice cut by Hostetler to the bucket, and he'll convert. Shot clock gone. 20 and counting to go here in half number one. Cougars will look to take the final shot. 45-37 your score. Holy Cross working their way back into this one. Still have a lot to chip away. Johnson, 2-1. Final shot is up, and it will not go. No foul is called. And that will be how we conclude the first half. Cougars take a 45-37 lead into the half. We'll step aside just as the players do for the 15-minute break. Then we'll see you here on the other side for second half action in this CCAC matchup. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you in just a bit on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody. A minute and change here until we get started with half number 2. Cougars took a 45-37 lead into the break and are now coming out looking to extend that. Cougars have had leads as high as 13 today. Holy Cross did a nice job, though, late in that first half, storming back, hitting some big shots from distance, and closing this SXU Cougars lead down just to 8 points. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast today, no Jaden King. He is in street clothes. Report is a bit of a groin tweak. It doesn't sound too terribly serious, but that has held him out of practice for the last few days, according to reports. And now today, obviously not suiting up for the Cougars, which drew Trey Warden into the starting lineup. He's looked very good, and we'll take a look quickly at some of the numbers here. Kevin Bishop leading the way for the Cougars, 12 points. Tino Shabai with 9 and Cedric Johnson with 7. Drew Bishop has chipped in 5. Trey Ward 4 and 3 assists, as we mentioned earlier. And Julian Barr, Maki Moore, and Halverson all chipping in on the score sheet as well. Tommy Snyder leading the way, 13 points for visiting Holy Cross. Hostetler and Robles with 8 apiece, and Jalen Martin with 6 off the bench. Storm Cook still with just the lone 2 points. Second half action of this CCAC matchup is underway here from Bob Hallberg Court. Starting 5 on the floor here for Holy Cross. Starting 5 on the floor for SXU to start half number 2. And it's Tommy Snyder getting things started with the scoring. Now just a 6-point lead for the Cougars. Here's Johnson. Nice move to the bucket. Can't get the friendly roll on the rim. Snyder pass over to O'Neal, who has to settle it down to get things back up and started. Ludwig nearly losing that pass. Had to really stretch to keep it in play. Now Snyder to Hostetler on the near side. 3-pointer, if it goes, it's off the mark. Halverson collects and gets it up quickly to Johnson. Here's Julian Barr looking for help, finds it via Trey Ward. And now the Cougars will go to work in the half court. Here's Johnson. Over to Bishop, working him in the post. Bishop, the roll, can't get it to go. Good look, though, on the short jumper from Bishop. Just like that, another great chance here for Holy Cross to do some damage and continue to chip away at this Cougars lead. Robles with the little floater. That's off the mark. Snyder with the offensive rebound. And one opportunity here for Snyder. And this could cut the lead down to just 3. 18:39 as well to go, so still a ton of time. As Snyder gets another bucket here, and he'll look to add on more. 17 and 8 so far for the freshman. And he converts. 3-point contest now. Cougars still in front. And somebody will have to step up in the absence of Jaden King. So far, it's been Kevin Bishop. We'll see who it is here in the second half. Barr, 3-pointer from the wing, and it's good. Julian Barr has been a sniper from beyond the arc all season. That's his second tray of the day. Here's O'Neal now in the low post against Halverson. Looking for help, finds it via Ludwig. It's Hostetler up top. Everything to the outside for the time being. There's Snyder on the cut, and he gets the roll off the backboard and in. Beautiful play by Snyder. And for a big man, he can move very well. We've seen a couple of those cutting plays now to the basket where he's been able to take advantage of that athleticism. Here's Ward on the baseline, has to kick it all the way out to Johnson on the far wing. Johnson, step back, 3-pointer off the mark. Halverson with the big offensive board. He's going to work on backing down Snyder and gets the floater in the lane to go. Good work there by Halverson against the freshman Snyder. And now they'll spread things out. Snyder all the way down here on the far side. He's got it on the wing. Robles in the corner, wanted the 3, has to circle back. And now Ludwig with it up top. Here's Snyder again in the low post against Halverson. The hook shot won't go. Good defense, Halverson, as he collects the rebound. Barr, Johnson, 3 on the wing, off the mark. And Snyder with another rebound. He inches closer to a double-double. Robles on the drive, kicks to O'Neal on the baseline. Good ball movement from the Saints. Snyder wide open for three. Off the mark. Kevin Bishop on the other end. And Trey Ward will run the offense through him at the point. And they go to work. Johnson on the near side. They want to get it to Halverson down low, and they do, and Halverson capitalizes. Beautiful dish from Johnson to Halverson and a quick, easy layup for two. Good work there from the Cougars offensively. O'Neal now over to Ludwig. Fake shot from Ludwig, second fake shot. Now the fadeaway goes. Good work there from the senior Bo Ludwig. Johnson sees the space, takes it to the rim himself, just a bit short. And there's Snyder's double-double, 20 and 10 for him so far. Well, Stetler contains it. We're under 16 remaining here in half number two. Hostetler over to Ludwig, wanted the three-pointer, has to pass instead. 10 to shoot here for the Saints. Hostetler, three off the mark, and a competition for the loose ball and rebound goes to the Cougars as Snyder's called for a holding foul. And Snyder will get a breather now as number 13, Mick Sullivan, checks in. Tino Shabai, Maki Moore on the floor. The big men Bishop and Halverson getting a breather here. And that should conclude all the changes, and from what I can see, it has. 15 and a half to go. Here's Ward, nice move. Kicks it out to Barr. Good defense from Hostetler, but Barr able to take it in himself on the drive. Julian Barr doing good work there. Cougars back up to an 8-point advantage. Ludwig over to O'Neal here on the near side. They want Sullivan in the post, and they found him. Sullivan against Shabai, and he gets that right-handed hook to go. McBride, the head coach for Holy Cross, looking for a foul, didn't get it. Here's Trey Ward up top, getting a screen from Shabai, and Trey Ward all the way to the hoop himself. Ward now 3 of 4 from the field. Also gives him 6 points on the day. In his first home start of the season, as we noted earlier. Ludwig looking for assist. Nice passes on the bounce twice. And now Robles from three. And it goes and one for Robles. A beautiful bounce. And just like that, this could be a 4-point play for freshman guard Phil Robles II. Storm Cook will be checking in here, as will Drew Bishop for the Cougars. Cedric Johnson will get a breather.
Drew Bishop returns to the court for Xavier.
So the Cougars going to their bench now. Ward and Barr, the two starters, still out on the floor. And with this play, Robles could make it just a 4-point contest. And it appears Maki Moore picked up that foul. That's his second of the contest. And a lot of standing around for the moment, trying to figure out what happened. So it looks like the 3 counts, but the foul was called on the floor, so it is a Holy Cross possession, no free throw, so still a 5-point game. But still ball Holy Cross. 14:25 and counting to go. Sullivan now on the bench. Number 0, Jalen Martin checks in his place. Small ball look now from Holy Cross. Robles with it here on the outside. They find Ludwig and now Martin on the far side. Here's Cook. The senior guard turns back and waits for reinforcements. O'Neal on the drive, working against Shabai. Now Martin for 3. That's offline. No foul call as Martin hits the ground. And Cougars work quickly. Ward gets it back from Shabai and looks for the screen. Drew Bishop on the near side here. They'll try to get it down low. Nice tip pass from Shabai to Bishop. Barr, 3-pointer, just off the mark. Martin finds his way into the paint to collect that rebound. Still a 5-point game. 13:33 and counting to go. Cook over to Ludwig once again. Nothing up top as they get it to O'Neal in the high post. Working against Shabai. Tough bucket off the mark. Good look, though, from O'Neal in a tough situation. And now Moore dribbles it off his foot, and it rolls out of play. Turnover Cougars, possession Saints. And a couple of changes coming. O'Neal to the bench. Snyder returning to the floor now for the visitors. Shabai and Barr will take a seat. Or no, pardon me, Barr still out on the floor as that three-pointer's let off, and Cook comes away with it. So just Shabai off the floor now as that three rains from Ludwig. And it is a close game, just 2 points. Separate these teams. Kevin Bishop, the new Cougar on the floor. SXU going to work here. Ward and Bishop playing the two-man game. Over to Maki Moore now on the far side. Loose ball. Cook comes away with it. Here come the Saints with a chance to tie or take the lead. And now a takeaway. Maki Moore working with Trey Ward here. And Moore able to finish at the other end. And now a timeout will be taken here by Robert Ford as the Cougars look to talk things over. Both teams with 4 timeouts remaining. 12:25 still to go here in half number 2. We're going to step aside for a breather. We'll be right back with you here on the Cougar Sports Network in just a moment. .25 to play here in half number 2. Cougars called a timeout after the steal and subsequent bucket from Maki Moore, giving the Cougars a 4-point lead once again. Ron Luce on the call with you here today for the CCAC doubleheader. In game 1, SXU's women's team took the opening contest 84-73 over Holy Cross. Alyssa Crenshaw, Alyssa Streeter, and Aliana Darrell all tallying in double figures for the Cougars. Now here, SXU with their backs a bit against the wall. No Jaden King. So you figure roughly 22 points of scoring has to be made up elsewhere. With King not dressed for today's game. TJ Babaker has returned, though, after a few game absence. And now Robles will pick it up. The clock will start. Holy Cross going to work here in the half court. Ludwig with it on this near wing. Looking for help. Good coverage here from SXU defensively. Snyder able to get it in the post. Gets the friendly roll. And just like that, it's a 2-point game once again. That ball almost gets away. Hit Cedric Johnson in the back, but a trio of Cougars in the neighborhood easily able to pick it up. Cougars going to work. Johnson kicks over to Trey Ward on the far side. Julian Barr now on the drive, and a foul called against Robles as that caught contact. Robles chatting with the official on the far side, getting an explanation. And now he's going to go update head coach Mike McBride on the situation as well. So Barr converts on free throw number 1, looking to make it free throw number 2. And he certainly does. Head coach referee interaction certainly been an entertaining one in this game with McBride and Ford. And now the Cougars lead once again here by 4. Robles with it here on the near wing, looking for help. Wanted Hostetler, turns back for Ludwig. Good ball movement, and that's Hostetler on the cut. Able to finish it off with 2 points. Johnson now on the near wing. Looking to dribble, good defense there from Ludwig as Ward catches it up top. It's Drew Bishop now on the far side, giving way to Johnson. Good ball movement here for the Cougars. Johnson with the turnaround fadeaway, and it goes. Nice bucket for Cedric Johnson. That'll get him ever closer to double figures. Julian Barr, Kevin Bishop, the only two Cougars at that point now. A trio of Holy Cross players there, however, as Snyder draws the foul against Bishop. That'll be Kevin Bishop's first of the afternoon. Snyder will go to the line here to shoot two. Tommy Snyder, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist today. He's 10 of 16 from the field. Only 2 of 5 from the free throw line, however, entering this trip to the line. And he'll improve to 3 of 6 now. Hostetler and Robles, the other two Saints, figuring in double digits as Martin heads to the bench. That brings Cook back out on the floor. Kevin Bishop also to the bench now. Halverson returning for the Cougs. 62-59 after Snyder misses the second free throw. And Johnson will go to work. Little floater from the baseline is good. Cedric Johnson starting to take over for SXU. Consecutive offensive possessions with buckets for the Nebraska native. Ludwig looking for help. Now Snyder able to get to the rack. Cougars have had no answer for the freshman Snyder today. He has been excellent here for the visitors. As we mentioned, now he's up to 25 points on the afternoon. Johnson with a floater, that's off the mark. Bo Ludwig securing the rebound with 10:10 to go. Just a three-point contest. Holy Cross looking to further chip away at that deficit. Cook on the near side here finds Hostetler. Good defensive coverage so far for the Cougars. Robles to Hostetler. Three-pointer, if it's good, it's off the mark. Snyder with the offensive rebound, and now a foul. Drew Bishop called for the foul. That's just his first of the afternoon, and now Maki Moore is going to enter the action. Cedric Johnson gets a breather. Cedric Johnson now in double figures after his last bucket as well. He's now got 11. Snyder denied by Halverson. Big block for the Cougars. Certainly needed that one at this point in time. And now a foul is called. Looks like Hostetler is going to get tacked with that one. And it feels like the more and more Mike McBride yells at the officials, the more and more they might call things that he's not going to agree with. 9:39 to go here. Cougars looking to add to their lead. Halverson the screen for Ward, and they'll kick. Halverson with the three. That's off the mark. No Cougars in the area as O'Neal secures the rebound. Now Holy Cross's turn to go to work. Hostetler guarded by Moore here on the near side. Good passing. Cook to the hoop. Friendly roll. Now just a 1 point game. 9:13 and counting to go. And this is the closest this game has been in quite some time. Ward over to Barr on the far side. They're trying to get it down low to Halverson, and he's stripped by Robles. Here come the Saints. Robles settling it down, and he'll give way to Cook. They're getting it down low to Cook, and now outside to O'Neal. Three-pointer off the mark. Snyder once again, an offensive rebound and one for Tommy Snyder, and just like that, the Saints are in front. And a couple of substitutions coming as well. Cougars getting some size on the floor now. Tino Shabai, Kevin Bishop join Halverson on the floor. Really the first time we've seen all three big men on the court together. And now the Saints will answer by trotting out Sullivan in place of O'Neal. Moore and Ward, the only two guards on the floor. We'll get to see TJ Babakir here in a minute as well. And Snyder bangs home the free throw. 2 point lead for the visitors. Babakir in place of Trey Ward is the substitution. and he'll serve as the point. Shabai out on the far side, gets it over to Bishop in the high post. Kick, Babaker, 3 from the corner, it's good. TJ Babaker with a big 3, and the Cougars find themselves back out in front by 1. Here's Robles now taking a 3, that's good. Big answer for the freshman Robles. And you can tell Holy Cross came into this matchup fired up today. Number 1 team in the conference as a foul is called here. It looks like Snyder's going to get tacked for an off-ball foul. So that'll be Snyder's third, something to keep an eye on as we wane into the final minutes here. Only 2 players on either roster at this point with more than 2 fouls. Maki Moore the other. And that sends Snyder to the bench for a little bit. Here's Babaker on the drive and draws the foul against Robles. So that'll be Robles' third now as well. But talk about Tommy Snyder being a menace today with 7:56 to play here. 28 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist. 12 and 19 from the field, and he's only 50% from the free throw line, so that total could certainly be more. Babaker hits free throw number 1. 68-69 now your score here as we wane into the latter moments of half number 2. We are tied at 69 apiece. Robles looking to get things started here for the visiting Saints. Hostetler, 3 from the corner, it's good. Hostetler with a big bucket. That'll give him 13 on the day now. Here's Bishop working against Hostetler. They're going to get it down low to Halverson, and Halverson will draw the foul as Sullivan got his wrist. And we got a very vocal don't foul from Mike McBride, 10th year head coach for Holy Cross, assisted by Tyler Bradick, Tyler Smith, and Ben Talon. Robert Ford's assistant coaches, Taylor Jones and Devin Johnson, sitting on the bench next to Robert Ford as Halverson bangs home the second free throw. So still a 2-point deficit here for the Cougars. 72-70 with plenty of time to go. 7:20 and counting officially. Ludwig there on the far side looking for reinforcements, tightly guarded by Maki Moore. He'll get it right back, looking to open something up. And a 3-pointer from Cook is good. Holy Cross is hitting everything from deep now, and they find themselves with their largest lead of the day. 5-point lead now for the visitors. Here's Halverson working against Sullivan. And they'll get it down low to Bishop. To Halverson. Halverson with the little floater in the lane for 2. And now Robert Ford is going to call a timeout. Cougars trail by 3, 75-72. We're going to step aside for a quick breather with 6:45 to play. Don't go anywhere. We're in for a great finish in this game 2 of a CCAC doubleheader right here on the campus of St. Xavier University. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a hot second on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody. Timeout has come to a close. Cougars still trailing by 3. Holy Cross looking to add to their lead now as we wane further into this second half. Ludwig guarded tightly by Babaker. Everything on the outside for the moment. Hostetler, nice cut pass to Ludwig coming through the lane. And now Halverson with a nice job forcing him to pass to the outside. 5 to shoot. Robles is going to pull up from deep. That's off the mark. And now a foul is called on the floor. And a good break there for Tino Shabai picking up the foul, but a good break there for Holy Cross. 6:16 to play. They get the inbound and a fresh shot clock, as the shot clock was down to 2 when Robles let off that shot. So essentially they steal a possession thanks to the foul. 6:12 and counting to go here. Still leading by 3 are the Saints. Big defensive possession for the Cougars. Hostetler for 3 from the corner. He's got it. And McBride is now going to take a timeout for Holy Cross. They are feeling the momentum. The Cougars will look to regroup here after this timeout. And as always, we'll step aside for a quick breather. 6-point lead now for Holy Cross with 6 minutes to play. Don't go anywhere. This one will be a good finish on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody. 6 minutes to go here in half number 2. And we appear destined for a epic finish. Poor grammar on my part. An epic finish, pardon me. 78-72 your score here as Holy Cross has taken a major lead. Talk about hitting from distance. From beyond the arc, they are 12 of 31. Cougars actually shooting better from beyond the arc, 9 of 21. And here's the 10th, potentially, as Tino Shabai nails it. That's a big dagger that the Cougars needed in that moment. And Shabai showing off his range. Likely a major reason why he's out on the floor. Tight defense here from the Cougars as Cook and Babaker stand atop the point. And that ball is going to roll out of play. Still is Holy Cross possession. It'll be an inbound from just in front of the scorer's table. But only 10 on the shot clock, so they'll need to work quickly. Cook over to Hostetler. Back to Cook. Three-pointer. If it goes, it does. Big answer by Storm Cook. The Dayton, Ohio native gives his team another 6-point advantage. Halverson looking to get it down low to Bishop, and he cannot. A major takeaway there for Holy Cross with 5 to go. Cedric Johnson will be checking back in here in just a minute for the Cougars. Sullivan kicks out. Cook wanted the 3. He'll drive instead and can't get it to go. Good look, though, from Storm Cook. Babaker will slow things down. He gives way to Halverson. Shabai, 3. In is Tino Shabai. He's continuing to hit from distance. And it's a 3-point contest once again. 15 from Tino Shabai, a team high for the Cougars this afternoon. Robles at the perimeter. He'll pull up from distance. And a foul is called. The shot off the mark. Robles will go to the line now to shoot a trio of free throws. 4:12 to play. Robles with a chance to extend their lead, and first free throw is no good. So now looking to go 66% here on this trip, and he's able to sink number 2. Substitutions will come. Maki Moore checks out. Cedric Johnson checks back in for SXU. And 2 for 3 is Robles on that trip. So a 5-point contest now as we approach 4 minutes to play in this second half. Johnson has it on the near wing. Now Halverson, they're looking to get it down to Bishop and do. Bishop off the glass and in for 2. Cook will continue to serve as point man here. He and Robles play catch as they bring it across the half-court line. Back over to Robles from Cook. Cook gets it again at the point. Hostetler down to Sullivan. Good ball movement. Robles, 3! Off the mark, Cougars secure it. Here comes SXU. Johnson spins back, gives way to Babaker around the logo. 3:21 and counting to play. Halverson wanting Bishop again. He kicks to Babaker. Babaker fakes the three, has to circle back. And Babaker pulls up in the lane for two. Now just a 1-point game as we tick under 3 to play. Sullivan with it now in the low post. Backing down Halverson. The hook shot. It's good. 3-point lead restored. Here come the Cougars. Definitely have to keep an eye on Tino Shabai. Hanging out on the far side beyond the arc. Babaker to Johnson. Give way to Halverson now at the point. They work down low to Bishop, and Bishop's got 2 more off the glass. 1-point game once again with 2:22 and counting to play. Here's Cook on the far wing. He gets it into the high post for Sullivan. Sullivan looking to dish, and he'll find Cook, an easy cut to the bucket for 2 more. And now a timeout is taken here by Holy Cross. Mike McBride slowing this down. 2:02 to play, a 3-point game. We're going to step aside for a breather. We'll be back with you here in a second. Don't go anywhere. An epic finish is in store in this CCAC matchup. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back, everybody. 2:02 still to go here. Ron Luce on the call with you, and this has been an incredible game. Cougars led by as much at one point of 13 in the first half. They took an 8-point lead into the half. But this second half has been all Holy Cross, outscoring the Cougars 50-39 to take the 3-point lead they currently have. Cougars, as we mentioned, took a 45-37 lead into the half. And we are now where we are. It is Cougar possession coming out of the Holy Cross timeout. SXU trailing by 3. They've been able to keep pace with Holy Cross here late in this second half. Babaker gives way to Tino Shabai on the far side. Now to Halverson. They want to get it to Bishop down in the post. Instead, Halverson will take it himself. That shot off the mark. Johnson secures it. Gets another rebound, and he'll put it back for 2. Still a 1-point game. 87-86 with a minute 33 and counting to go. Here's Cook. A major possession here for Holy Cross. They need points. Hostetler, 3 from the corner. Off the mark. Johnson secures the rebound. Here come the Cougars as Johnson takes it to the far side. Halverson wanted it, and Ludwig was the last to touch, so it will still be Cougars possession with a minute 12. They'll inbound here from the baseline, and now Robert Ford's going to take a timeout to draw something up. 1-point game. We'll stay with you here this time through the timeout. And let's discuss the situation at hand and strategy. If you're Robert Ford, you have to settle probably for the easy bucket at this point, really. You're only down by 1. You don't need the 3-pointer. If it's there, take it. Certainly Tino Shabai has been hot from distance today. He is 5 of 5 from beyond the arc. All 5 of his shots coming from 3-point range. He's got 15 and 2. Cedric Johnson needs 1 more rebound for a double-double. And Halverson needs 1 point and a rebound for a double-double. Tommy Snyder already a double-double for the other side. Hostetler, Robles with 16 apiece. Cook with 12 off the bench. He is the leading bench scorer for his respective team. Shabai's 15 off the bench, a game high for bench players. But for Robert Ford here, you've had success with the trio of big men on the floor. Bishop, Shabai, and Halverson have been able to really combat this Holy Cross attack. Holy Cross will trot out Snyder and Sullivan to combat that now as well. So it's Cook, Robles, and Ludwig on the floor here for Holy Cross. Still the same five for the Cougars. It's Babaker and Johnson serving as the two guards. We'll see what they drew up. Babaker throws it all the way out to the three-point line for Johnson. Over to Shabai, back to Johnson at the top. On the drive, he'll take it himself and draws the foul. We'll see who the foul is called on, and it will be Snyder, so that's his fourth. 1:04 to play. And we'll see number 3, Nash Hostetler, check back in here in a moment. Johnson converts on the first free throw. We're tied at 87. And Sullivan will head to the bench now as Hostetler returns. Holy Cross wanting that three-point shooting from Hostetler. He's 4 of 10 from beyond the arc today as Johnson gives the Cougars a lead, and another timeout taken by SXU. 1-point lead with 1:04 to play. We're going to take a breather. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you here in a second on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back, everybody. 1:04 as we mentioned to play. Cougars just took their penultimate timeout. They have 1 remaining. Holy Cross still with 2 left. And it's a 1-point game. Cougars have trailed for a good portion of this later part of the second half. Now taking a 1-point lead after that pair of Cedric Johnson free throw makes. That gives Johnson now 15 on the day. We mentioned no Jaden King for the Cougars today, so that 22.3 average coming into action was going to need to be made up by others. Shabai has done a nice job off the bench, as have others. Here's Snyder for 2, and he's got it. They'll let the clock dwindle, and now anxiety at an all-time high. Johnson on the near wing gets it to Halverson. They want to get it to Bishop and do, and Bishop's got 2 more. 90-89 your score. And here we go. Still a discrepancy between game and shot clock. So there is still at least another possession. Robles guiding traffic and gives it to Cook. Good defense from Johnson, and now a foul is called. Robert Ford in disbelief. That'll be Johnson's 3rd. Sullivan will check in again for Hostetler, so they'll bring that defensive pairing in. And Cook with a chance to give his team the lead with a pair of free throws. They are in the first phase of the bonus. So he needs to make the first one. And he does. Gives himself another chance at the line. Tied at 90. And it's good. 91-90, and Mike McBride wants to talk things over. There will not be a shot clock, so one has to think the Cougars are going to run this down and take the last shot. Let's talk through it. If you're Mike McBride, Sullivan and Snyder are on the floor, which makes plenty of sense. You want your 2 big men in, especially with the array of players on the floor for SXU. Now the Cougars are going to go back to their big 3. Shabai, Halverson, and Bishop will be in. Shabai just checked in with the scorers table. It will be Babaker and Johnson serving as the guards. And that will be the key here. You know, if you are Mike McBride, you know the Cougars are going to want to work that big man 2 game getting Bishop in the post. You want to create mismatches. You want to roll. You want Sullivan to get distracted by either Halverson or Shabai or Snyder. Realistically, though, if you're Mike McBride here, Snyder's job is to lock down Kevin Bishop in this moment. And then you have to trust one of your guards to guard Shabai, who really, although a big man, has been shooting predominantly and only from the outside this game. Massive possession coming up with 21.2 to play. You heard the whistle blow. Both teams returning to the floor, and there's the buzzer. So the Cougars will inbound from the baseline to our left. It'll be Johnson and Babaker back here to get it into play. And there's the clock start. Cougars go to work in the half court. Bishop with it up top. It's Sullivan guarding him, and there's the foul. So Bishop will go to the line with 12.7 to go. Each team with one timeout remaining. And it looks like Hostetler is going to have an opportunity to return here, perhaps for the last shot. Bishop at the line with 12.7 to go. And Bishop sinks free throw number one. We're tied at 91. Julian Barr checking back in now as well as Shabai heads to the bench. Sullivan to the bench to get Hostetler and the hot hand out on the floor. And Bishop gives the Cougars the lead, and now Robert Ford takes his final timeout. And that gives Kevin Bishop 20 points on the afternoon. Woo! Talk about a highly competitive game today. Holy Cross came ready to play. Records be damned in this situation. 7-9 overall, 3-6 in conference. They're currently toward the bottom of the conference. This win, though, would project them in, or potential win, pardon me, would project them into kind of the mid-range in the conference. They're currently sitting right on the doorstep of what would be the CCAC tournament. A conference win would move them up astronomically in the situation. They would then be tied with 4 wins with Trinity International and Governors State. Indiana Northwest being served that third conference loss on Wednesday night by the Cougars, actually helping Holy Cross. As we mentioned, the Cougars are tied atop the conference with Roosevelt 8-1 in CCAC play. Hostetler is in the game. We talked about his hot hand so far. He's 4 of 10 from beyond the arc. Snyder also in there, and they just need a bucket with 12.7 to go. Cougars also now out of timeouts. A massive key here. So Mike McBride not only with possession, but they also have an opportunity now. Wouldn't be surprising to see Mike McBride get into the front court with the ball and use that last timeout and then dial up the last play of the game. Snyder on the inbound catches. Here's Cook. No timeout will be taken. Cook to the bucket, takes the shot, it's in! Holy Cross is in front, 4.9 to go, and Snyder just fouled out because Julian Barr is going to the free throw line. That is his 5th and final foul. And they gave Robles the foul. That actually helps Holy Cross. But with 3.8 to play, Julian Barr at the free throw line. Not what Holy Cross wanted to happen. So Barr, only the first phase of the bonus, so he has to hit number 1 for a second shot. And Barr misses. Ball bounces out. 2-1, Halverson, game over. Holy Cross pulls off the upset and defeats the top seed in the CCAC, 93-92. What a massive victory Ultimately, Storm Cook with the game-winning shot. And just like that, Holy Cross secures a massive 4th win in conference play. Cougars will look to rebound here on Wednesday night in a doubleheader with Indiana South Bend. The men and women will play at 7 and 5 o'clock respectively, women tip-off being the first at 5. Be sure to join us here on the Cougar Sports Network for that one. I'm Ron Luce. Until next time, Holy Cross pulls off the upset 93-92 here in the Shannon Center. We wish you a good night, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Wednesday right here from Bob Hallberg Court.